Okay, so maybe let's get started. So, hang on. Good afternoon and welcome to one more webinar from Telerik India. And we pretty much do these webinars almost every Thursday, second, third, and fourth Thursday of the month from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. India Standard Time, and we pick topics which are catered towards developers. Some topics are Telerik specific, some are generic developer topics. Today we're going to be talking about one of our products called as Telerik Platform and NativeScript. NativeScript is a cross-platform mobile application development technology or runtime or framework, whatever you can think of. So we will try to kind of take a journey today with Telerik Platform. By the way, Telerik Platform is a commercial product, so that means it's licensed. You will need to purchase a license for this. It's a subscription-based SaaS model wherein you pay for the month and then you get on our platform and start building on our platform. So what you're seeing here is our Telerik Platform landing page or the product overview page. It's telerik.com/platform, and we tend to call this as basically Telerik Platform is a platform which can help you mobilize and modernize your apps in a faster way. We let you build cross-platform hybrid or cross-platform native mobile development for iOS, Android, and Windows Phone. So what you get is set up instantly, meaning without anything installed on your machine, you can get up and go because everything is on the browser, and you don't need anything. Even if you want to build a Mac, the iOS or iPhone or iPad packages, you don't need a Mac on your organization or on your network because our platform is in the cloud, and then it will be able to do the build on the cloud and come back to you and then give you your whatever you have, the package that you created. We do have some things called as screen builder, as you can see here in the video that's coming up or the GIF that's coming up. You just set certain properties and then the screen is automatically generated for you. Of course, it's not a full-fledged, you cannot build a complex screen here, but rather if it takes 1 to 10 steps to create a particular screen, the screen builder will jumpstart your development to step number 6, because it creates those bare bone, the page, the screen, the whatever boilerplate code that is required. Yeah, the screen builder just does it for you, and then you can then jump into the code and then start customizing it or anything, and then you will be able to easily publish your apps to iOS, Android, and Windows Phone using public or private app stores. So from the platform, you have the capability to push it directly to a public store, or we give you your own store as part of our platform. So you will have your own secure container or secure what do you call the store mechanism, and then what you can do is you can just go in and then publish to your own store, and then you can enable only the users you want to use this by providing them a companion app which is free from our side, and then all they have to do is just log in, and then they see only the apps that are available for them. So from a perspective of a workflow, right, so this is what I like about what they've done in our in this particular page. It's basically showcasing a workflow that is typically involved in any mobile application development. We call it as every step of your mobile project accelerated, meaning if you are on Telerik platform, every step of your mobile project is accelerated. So what are those steps, or what are those workflows that involve developing a mobile application? Well, everything starts with a design. Basically here on our platform, design means the screen builder that I talked about. It's basically you go and then you set certain properties, and then the screen builder will immediately generate the screen for you. So in a way you're doing a prototype, but it's not exactly a prototype, rather it's a full-fledged screen that comes up. So but yeah, that's a stage that you start with, right? You start with kind of a design. Once that is done, you will jump into building the application. As a developer, you now know what needs to be done, or know the UI, so you start building stuff. So you need something called as an app builder or application builder, as we call it on our platform. So it's basically an IDE to create hybrid mobile apps and then create NativeScript based native mobile apps. Okay, so now I'm done with the building. So but for my application I need data storage. So maybe you want to store data, right? So typically what happens is any application will need a storage. So we have on our platform a what we call as MBaaS, or mobile backend as a service. It's called as Telerik backend. The first one, the design is called as screen builder. The build is called as app builder, meaning application builder. It's an IDE. Then the connect piece is the Telerik backend, which is nothing but mobile backend as a service. Well, what are the typical things that you end up doing when it comes to interacting with the database is you sit and write CRUD-based services, and you have to expose those services to the internet, right? So that's what typically you do. You write REST API. Well, with Embase, the concept is completely different. You just come in, you create a database, you create a table. The moment you click on save the table schema, we would have generated the REST API for you, and then that REST API can be easily, interacted through an SDK. So we have SDK for JavaScript, .NET, Java, iOS, so you name it. So we give you that client-side SDK, and you use that client-side SDK, provide your key, and then it is as easy as just doing a dot get or dot post, those kind of functions or methods is what we'll give you. So that's what the connection the connect work step of your mobile project is all about. Then of course you will need to test your app. So what we have is, outside of the platform, we have our own software called as Telerik Test Studio. It can do mobile automation for you, mobile automation testing for you. Basically you record the steps, basically on the application itself. You do your actions, or you do your behavior actions, and then the test studio will record those actions, and you can replay it any number of times. So your UI automation for your mobile application is done using test studio. Then deployment. So typically what happens is you would have to generate an APK or an IPA or whatever it is, and you have to log into Google Play Store or Apple iTunes, and then you have to manually upload the APK or an IPA, right? But in our platform, right from the app builder, that's the build step of your mobility journey, we have mechanism to build and then publish directly to public stores, or build and publish directly to your own container or your own private store. So that's in the deploy stage. Manage is nothing but it's a service, we call it as app manager. That's the concept. The scenario that we are trying to address here is, hey, I don't want to put my application to Google Play Store or Apple iTunes, because if I do that, anybody on this earth can get hold of that application. So I don't want to do that. What I want to do is provide my applications to only my employees, or only a select audience. Yeah, you can do that. So how we do that is, we have this concept of app manager. That's your private store. From the app builder, we have a direct integration with the app manager. You just have to say, like, publish to app manager. Once it is published to app manager, then you can include users and say only this user can get hold or can download this particular application. The user has to download a companion app, as we call it, and he just has to log into that companion app, and once he logs in, he sees that, oh, the administrator has enabled an application, and then he can then download. So now nobody else except that particular user gets it. So that's app manager for you. Then last but not the least, measure. So this is nothing but measuring the metrics, or typically in the mobility world, it's all about measuring how my application is doing in the market, or in on the hands of the users, right? Or in the hands of the users. Basically, it's all about, hey, on what version of Android is my users installing my application? What handset is it? Where are they coming from? Are they from India? Are they from US? So I want to know all the metrics about my application. So that's what analytics is all about. So measure is nothing but our own service called as Telerik Analytics. So if you take a look at the diagram itself, there is a arrow mark going in. So arrow mark starts all the way from design, goes up till measure, and then it dives back into the design. So what does it say is, you published iteration 1, then you started looking at your so you did everything for iteration 1. You designed it, you built it, you connected it, you tested it, you deployed it, you managed it, and then finally you measured it also. Well, what happens after you measure it, right? So, well, iteration 1 is up and running, but I want to plan for my iteration 2, right? So that's what the metrics will give you. The analytics will tell you how people are using it. You put in maybe 10 screens, but nobody is going to the 10th screen, so that means that was a wastage of time. maybe screen number 3 is getting too much of traffic, so probably you may want to take a look at how to better that screen 3, maybe introduce a feature in screen 3, maybe better a feature in screen 3. So that's what typically your agile cycle is all about. You go ahead, you build a most viable product, then you start adding features slowly, release slowly. So that's why there's a circular loop going on from measure till design again. So you start with design again, design, build, connect, test, deploy, manage, measure. So that's what you do in a mobility project. It's a different steps that you take, and then with Telerik platform, what will happen is we try to accelerate your each project step of your project. And Telerik platform as of now is a public cloud, meaning it's available only on the internet, meaning you just have to log into platform.telerik.com, and then that's it. Your journey starts there, and then all you need is just a browser. Even for generating a native mobile application, all you need is just a browser, because we give you the editor, and we have certain other mechanisms wherein, like, you can be editing the file on the browser, but we have a companion app which can pull down your source code directly from your platform account and then run it on a device. So I'm going to showcase this when I start doing the presentation. That's a demo. So this is in a nutshell what Telerik platform is all about. And now let me briefly touch upon NativeScript. So NativeScript is a fantastic framework or technology that our engineering guys have done, and then I'm super happy to know about this particular product, just because I don't I've been programming on mobility from last 5 or 6 years, and I started out with Windows Phone, and then I am a Windows guy. So I was only developing Windows Phone because it was easier. I know Visual Studio, I know C#, I know XAML, and that's it. All I need to do was just be within Visual Studio, but I could create file new Windows Phone project, and then I do an F5, meaning run the project, and then if a device is connected to my laptop, the application would directly come and install it on my phone. That was as easy it was. But when it came to maybe developing for iPhone or developing for Android, well, I had to make sure that I learned new things, right? For iOS development, you need to know either Objective-C or Swift as a language. Not only that, you need to have a Mac machine in your network or with you, and Xcode, all these things you have to learn. I know Java, but the kind of Java that you need for Android is slightly different, meaning the language semantics are the same, but Android is the ocean. I don't have time to go through everything. So with the NativeScript, what has happened is, NativeScript is a technology or a framework. What we let you do is you can reuse your skill of JavaScript. So that's what I know. I've been doing web for the last 15 years, and I know JavaScript very well, and I know CSS very well, and I know XML very well. Right. So what we did was we set out on a different path, and then we said, hey, if you know JavaScript, we can make you a native mobile app developer. How? Well, we will take care, that is NativeScript will take care of everything native, meaning you wanted a screen, yeah, we will generate the native screen for you. You needed a button, we will give you the native button for you. But it is all abstracted out. As a developer, I do not need to know what is a button on Android, what is a button on iOS. All I need to tell NativeScript is, hey NativeScript, I need a button. Hey NativeScript, I need a list view. So NativeScript will make sure that when it runs on Android, it will give me the Android.widget.button. When it runs on iOS, it will give me whatever iOS uses. From a perspective of business logic, I just need to know JavaScript. That's all. So I'm a TypeScript guy. So TypeScript is the superset of JavaScript, and it is fantastic in terms of if you're coming from a typed languages like C# or Java. So TypeScript provides you the same typed paradigm within the JavaScript. You can create the class, you can create a public, private, getter, setter methods, all those things. So I typically program with TypeScript now. So I do not have to worry about Java. I do not have to worry about Swift or Objective-C. All I need to know is JavaScript. So when I do a demo, you will start seeing that. So that's what the whole premise of NativeScript is all about. You can build amazing iOS and Android apps with technology you already know. It's an open source framework for building truly native mobile apps with Angular, TypeScript, or JavaScript. Well, the framework or the technology called NativeScript is open source, but what I'm going to showcase today is, with Telerik platform, you do not have to do anything. With NativeScript being open source, you will have to install all the prerequisites that you need for developing for Android or for developing for iOS. Meaning, if you go just the route of NativeScript as a framework, well, you need to have a Mac for developing for iOS, meaning packaging for iOS. Well, for packaging to Android, you can do it either on a Windows machine or on a Mac machine, so everything works for Android. But you will need to go install the prerequisites and then install NativeScript and then you write the code and then do it. But today what I'm going to showcase is a bunch of things which are super fast. I will build a ready-made application or ready to use application within minutes with our platform. So that is the play between Telerik NativeScript and then Telerik platform. Just keep in mind that NativeScript is a technology to build cross-platform native mobile application using JavaScript as a language. If you know AngularJS 2, which is one of the popular UI frameworks that Google has come out with, we do support AngularJS 2 in the NativeScript. So you can keep the AngularJS 2 as the framework, but NativeScript will become just the UI rendering technology, and then that's it. So you reuse whatever skills that you have already learned. That's the AngularJS 2. But it's not required. NativeScript allows you to develop in TypeScript or plain vanilla JavaScript. So if you want to know more, you can always go to nativescript.org. So some of the things like why you need NativeScript is some of the whys, right? It's a native UI, so you will be building native UI, no web views, no Cordova, no PhoneGap, nothing. Define once and let NativeScript adapt to run everywhere. We can adapt, meaning NativeScript will render it natively on the platforms that it is running on, or you can go and then write a specific device-based screens or device-based style sheet, all those things. So we'll show you that. It is extensible. Having said that, it's a new technology or framework, we understand that you may have already invested in some assets in the native world, so you will be able to reuse any third-party components or third-party libraries that you already have. Yeah, you will be easily able to use it in the NativeScript. It is very quick to learn. So believe me when I say this, I'm talking from a developer perspective. It was so easy for me to pick this up. I had no clue on Android, I had no clue on iOS, but now since I learned NativeScript, I just worry about NativeScript. What does NativeScript provide me to put a button? What does NativeScript provide me to handle a button click? That is all I do. And the NativeScript will automatically make sure that it runs and then it adapts and then it behaves on a specific operating system. So that's why it's very quick to learn. And it's cross-platform. You write once and you can deploy it on Android and iOS. So that's the magic that we do. And it is backed by Progress or Telerik, as you know. We have been in the industry from last 12 years or 30 years now. Progress Software has been in the industry from last 30 years, 20 to 25 years. So it is backed by an enterprise. It's not just somebody's weekend project. The NativeScript as a technology or as a framework, yeah, it is open source. It's an Apache v2 license. As I said, if you want to do your own self-service, meaning, yeah, I will install all the prerequisite and then I will take care of all those things. Yeah, by all means, it's free. You can just start using it wherever you want. Some of the showcases are available here. Take a look at this. This is actually some company called as Think Success Limited, and this is the app they have been able to build using NativeScript, and this is available on iOS and Android. Take a look at how sleek the UI is. That's because it's a native UI, right? So some of the other examples that we may have is, let me show you. I'm just going into some more showcases. So let's see what all things we have. One of my favorite is this MeWat. So a good friend of mine, they have done this. It's a company called as Falafel Consulting. So they have come out with this particular IoT device which sits in between your whatever devices that you have, like a lamp or whatever, oven or whatever it is. So it sits between the plug point and your device, and it measures how much power it's been used. So pretty good looking UI that they have done. As you can see here, it has some charts, pretty sleek looking. So it has a calendar. All these things have been built using NativeScript, and it is available on Google as well as iOS. That's because NativeScript, you just write once. You just have one project. You just have one team. But I can package it for Android. I can package it for iOS, and it just runs on all the platforms. So that's what NativeScript brings you. I hope I spent just 20 minutes to give you a rundown on what is NativeScript and then what is a Telerik platform. Now it's time for the action. So I'm going to go start looking at some demos. If you want to know more on NativeScript, if you go to nativescript.org, there are certain resources available. A bunch of resources which are pretty good, getting started, building an application, slides, books, sample apps, codes, examples, you name it, everything is here. So play around and then let us know what you think. So that's the Telerik platform, and then of course each aspect of our services that we have. So by the way, each piece that I talked about in the Telerik platform is a service. It can be used as a standalone, or you can use it everything together and then build a mobile application. It's up to you. We provide everything. Which one to you use is yours, your decision to make, and that's it. So you can integrate it easily. And then in this page, if you see here, different aspects: build, connect, test, deploy, manage, and measure. Everything has been explained in a kind of a simple bullets. Let me see if there are any questions so that I can pick it up. How is NativeScript differ from Xamarin and Cordova? How their publishing methods are different? It's not about publishing methods. Basically, it's all about the structure, or it's all about the whole the framework itself. So the biggest and major difference is Xamarin is for C#. Like, for example, if you are on C# as a language and then you do not know JavaScript or you do not know anything, but rather you just know C#, yeah, Xamarin is the way to go with it, because Xamarin lets you go cross-platform with C# as a language. Whereas NativeScript, it is all about, hey, you are a web developer, meaning you know JavaScript. Well, I'll let you write the business logic in JavaScript itself, and then I will let you style the the UI using CSS as a technology. That's the difference between that. The packaging is still the same. So whether they also do the APK, we also do the APK. There's no way you can move out of that. The packaging is still going to be the same, but it's just that how the development stack that you use, and then how you program it and how it is run on the device. Yeah, there's a slight difference. How does the platform build for Windows Phone if NativeScript doesn't support Windows Phone? Well, at the moment, we do not support Windows Phone, but 2017 onwards, I think, the engineering team is already going ahead with the prototyping, POC, and all those things, meaning how can we take the same code, which is now going for Android and iOS, and then make it run on Windows platform also. But we will not be supporting for Windows Phone 8.1 or Windows Phone 8, no. We will be basing it on Windows 10. So now what happens is Windows 10 has a new platform called as Universal Windows Platform, or UWP apps. So we're going to build, we're going to generate a UWP app based on the same source code, and because of it's a UWP app, it can be run on Windows 10 desktop, Windows 10 mobile, Windows 10, I don't know, wherever Windows 10 runs, you can run it. In fact, you can run it on IoT devices also, if you're thinking, like, because it's a UWP app, and UWP runs on Windows 10 desktop, Windows 10 mobile, Xbox, HoloLens, Windows 10 Core, IoT Core, yeah, you name it. So that's what we're going to be doing it. At the moment, it's only Android and iOS. Okay. Okay, let's, where's the questions? Okay, here's the question, that's fine. Okay, now let me start doing a demos so that you get to know, get to see the action. Enough of talking. Okay, so everything starts at platform.telerik.com. That's where you should pretty much go. As of now, what will happen is the platform knows who I am, because I've been working on it from morning, so it knows who I am. But if you are logging in, I mean, if you're going to platform.telerik.com now, chances are that, it's going to say, hey, I don't know you. You may have to enter your credentials, or you can sign up for Telerik platform. So by the way, the Telerik platform is on the public cloud, as I said, and it's a subscription model, but we have 30 days of free trial. So whatever I'm going to do now, you can do it for 30 days, and after 30 days, yes, you will be locked out, meaning you cannot do anything else except log in and then take a look at the code, but you cannot run it, you cannot deploy it, you cannot publish it. So all those restrictions starts applying. But 30 days you can play around, you can do whatever I did, you can go back to the video that will have it, and then you can pretty much do the same stuff. So everything starts with this going inside this apps that you see here and then creating an app. So I'm going to create an app. So now notice here we do support Cordova based cross-platform mobile application development plus NativeScript also. So currently what I'm going to do is I'm going to select NativeScript, and then I will say NS demo app 1. Just give it some name, and then I'll just say create app. We'll just give it the system to scaffold this application. And what you're seeing now is the system has scaffolded the application. It knows it is a NativeScript app, meaning it's a native app. So we do give you a disclaimer here saying like, hey, there's a preview of your application which is coming up to the right hand side. So that preview is not exactly a native UI preview. That's because I'm on a browser. Remember, I'm just on a browser. So on a browser, how can I simulate, or how can I emulate a native UI? So what we do is we use our hybrid based UI called as Kendo UI Mobile, and then we try to give you, hey, this is how the app will look like, because Kendo UI as a hybrid mobile UI framework has the capability to render UI natively, meaning a native look and feel. So that's what we will do. So what you're seeing here is just a preview which says, yeah, by the way, keep in mind that the preview that you see on the right hand side is actually using the Kendo UI, which is a hybrid in nature, right? So I said, okay, I understand that. And notice the moment I said create an app, it has already created me one screen. It is called as home view, and what you're seeing on the right hand side is actually a previewer, or sorry, simulator, and I can simulate as if like this is a Windows Android phone, right? So notice here now it says, hey, this is how the screen will look like in Android, but I can go back and then say like, no, show me how is it in iPhone. So this is iPhone previous versions. I can say show me it in iPhone 6 Plus. Yeah, this is how it looks like iPhone 6 Plus. And we can pretty much take the version also if you want to take a look at it. So what it has done is it has already created something called as home view, right? And if I click on home view, yeah, this is how home view is going to look like. It's very blank. There's nothing inside it, but it has just created. But notice on the tab bar, we have now a back button and then an index as the link, and then I can go back and forth. So now what I will do is I need some data for this particular application, right? So I'm going to go and then create some data for this. So I will come back to the screen builder. Let's go to data first, and then we'll create a database. So remember I was talking about connect step of your mobile project. So that's nothing but you getting a Telerik backend. So this is the Telerik backend, and I'm clicking on enable data. And here we have two concepts. One is you can store the data on our cloud, which is the Telerik backend storage, or if you already have let's say a SQL server or an Oracle or a MySQL or a PostgreSQL or even a Salesforce, what we do is we can connect to your all this RDBMS or Salesforce which is on your premise. If it is an RDBMS, it will be on your premises. So maybe you don't want to expose the data to the cloud. So I mean, move the data to the cloud. So what we can do is we can connect to your SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, PostgreSQL through a connector that we will provide. All you need to do is download the connector from us and install that connector close to your data store and expose the connector to the internet. Then right from here, that is from your Telerik backend portal, you can actually connect to that connector and say, hey, by the way, there is a table there. I want you to expose that table as a REST API. That's what we will do it. So we'll take a look at both of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and then create a new table where the data will be stored on our storage, that is Telerik platform storage. I'm going to call this as a person table, and person table will have, okay, what happened to my mouse? Okay, we are back. So person table will have first name, maybe, or we'll just call it as name, and I will say name, and then I will say designation, it's a text, and then I will say location, and maybe email, right? So this is the table that I've created: name, designation, location, and email. So I'm going to click on save. The moment I do a save, this particular table will be created, and then of course we just created a table. There's no data inside that. So what I can do is right from here in the portal, I can start adding what do you call just where did it go? So on the right hand side you will see that, you know, I have the form coming up here. There we go. So I can say my name is Lohit dot, or my new email ID is nagaraj@progress.com. Location is Bangalore, designation is technical evangelist, and name is Lohit GN, right? So that's my one row, and one row got created. And I will add one more just to add it. So we have abhishek.kant at telerik.progress.com, and location is Gurgaon, or I think it's called as Gurugram now. So let's call it as Gurugram, and he's the director, Progress India. So this is Abhishek Kant. Let me add one more. So I have my colleague Avinash.Kanduri. So he handles all our inside sales. So he's at progress.com. Location again, he's in Gurugram. Sales manager, and his name is Avinash Kanduri. Okay, so now what I have done is I've already created a table, I've already created 3 records, and I should be good to go. Now I can expose this record direct. I mean, now the REST API is readily created. So what I can do is I can go back to something like Postman. It's basically a RESTful API, you know, kind of a, you can use Postman to go and then quickly hit a RESTful API and then try to get the and try to take a look at how the data is coming back or not. So I don't know why my Postman is not launching. Okay, did it go to the other? No, it's not in the other desktop. Huh. Okay, so every project has what we call as in settings or API key. Nothing is going wrong today, right? For me today, the Postman is not coming up. Let me see if I can get our Fiddler. Okay. Yeah, at least Fiddler is coming back. So here is the app ID or the API key that you will require to kind of to work with anything. So let me quickly go to our documentation platform, and there's a very specific RESTful API path that you can pretty much use. So I need to be in data users, and this is typically what I'm on platform independent, meaning REST. I'm just showcasing a point here, which is, remember I just created the table, and the table has one particular, I mean the table has, I created a database, and the database has one table now. The table is called as person, and then it has 3 rows, right? So that's how typically you have. So let's see how to query the data. So introduction to querying. So yeah, so this is api.everlive.com/v1/ you know, my, so that's it. So let's come back here. We will go to Composer, and I'm going to paste my API key. So what I need is HTTP API everlive v1. So that's the, this one, and then all I need to do now is just say person, because that's my type name, right? So now I'm going to say execute, and here is the execution. So I got back 3, count is equal to 3. Remember we had 3 records, right? So it says 3, count 3. Let me minimize this guy. Yeah, there we go. So I have, what was that? Designation technical evangelist, email is this, name is Lohit GN. Yeah, there we go. So I have the first one. Second one was our director Abhishek Kant. So that's here. The third one was my colleague Avinash, and that's here. So what you just saw was, this is what is known as MBAS, or mobile backend as a service. You just come in on the cloud, create the database, create the table, and then we will create the REST API for you. So now, whether you want to directly hit this REST API or you want to use a client-side SDK, up to you. But I would always prefer an SDK instead of me writing the hard-coded raw URIs for the endpoints. Let the SDK handle it, because SDK is meant to work with the REST API, right? So now another concept is data connector. For today, for this particular demo, what we have done is we have a development center in Bulgaria, and in Bulgaria what we have done is we have kept one Windows server, and that Windows server we have a SQL server installed. Inside that SQL server we have a database called as Northwind. Northwind is a fictitious trade house, and then it has categories, products, employees, orders, suppliers, customers, you name it. So there are a bunch of tables available. So what I'm going to do is, the scenario that I'm showcasing now is, you just saw me create a table which stores data on Telerik platform. That's fine. Maybe I want to do that. And now there are some tables which cannot be exposed to the cloud, meaning which cannot be moved, or you cannot take the data out of the database in the premises in the organization and then move it to a centralized database in cloud. Now you cannot do that, maybe for some regulatory reasons or whatever. So in that case, what you can do is you can download our connector. So in today what we have done is, the connector is already installed in that server in Bulgaria. It has been exposed to the internet behind a firewall, and now I am in my Telerik platform account, and I can go and then say, hey, here is this is how you create a connector. So all I'm saying is create a data connector to the demo SQL server that is there. I'm going to call it as Northwind connector. And notice here it says datalink.telerik.com colon 9090. So that is where our data connector is running at the moment. And this is the connection string that I want to pass to the data connector so that it can execute the queries, right? So I'll do a test, and notice the test is successful. So now I can go and then create this particular connector. So connector is created. Now I want to expose a table called as suppliers. The database has a table called as suppliers. So I want to create a supplier. I want to read the suppliers data onto my native mobile application, right? So for that, somebody has to write me a a RESTful API. Well, with ours, it is fairly simple. Remember, there are two types of tables that you can create. One is create a content type, create type from a data connector. So when you say create a content type, that means you are storing data on Telerik's storage or Telerik's cloud storage. But now what I'm doing is, I'm going to go ahead and say create type from a data connector, meaning, hey, by the way, there is a connector running somewhere in the internet. So you should actually just take a look at that connector and do a tunnel between you, that is Telerik platform, and that connector. So the moment I selected, create a type from connector, it knows that there is a Northwind connector. And notice these are the tables that are there inside that SQL server. This is not created by me. This is the actual table that we have exposed right from the database running in somewhere in Bulgaria, right? So I'm going to say, I'm going to pick up maybe supply, or let's see what we have in customers, right? So there we go. We have customers. They're not bad. So it has address, city, company name, contact title, country, phone, postal code, region. So let's pick up everything, and I will say this is customers, right? And then I'm going to say save. So the moment I do that, now you will see that it says there are X number of, there are 91 records available. Well, I never entered a record, right? That's because the moment you created a table from the connector, we do a secure tunnel between Telerik platform and your connector, which is running on your premises, and we just go read the table and then come back and then show you the data. By the way, this data is not stored in Telerik platform now because it is already there in your database. So we just go read and show it to you as a this one. Now I can go and then go to the Fiddler, And I can do the same stuff. Remember, I named it as customers. So I can say, hey, give me customers. And here is 91 items coming back. There you go. So remember, we had 91 items. So I got the same 91 items coming back here. So uh, this is how this is as easy as it can get to expose your existing on-premise legacy data to mobility world. So that's why I like this whole concept of our Telerik backend. Now that we have created two tables, let's go back to the screen builder. That's the first service that we saw, views. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create two screens here. One screen to show that you can read from person table, another screen to show that you can read from customers table. Okay, so I'm going to say I have to first add a data provider, and the data provider that I'm going to add is the same demo application. So I'm going to call it as NS demo app data provider, and I will say add. So what this does is it writes all the plumbing code that you otherwise have to write to make a connection with our backend, all those things. So it is currently generating some amount of code. So I'll come back to you and then show it to you. So let's go back to the manage views, and now I want to bring in the let's say add view, and the type of the view I want is master detail, and I'm going to name this as person view, and I will say people or progress people, right? So we are all the employees here, so I'm going to just do that, and I'm going to say include this in the navigation, and maybe we'll just say this icon, and notice it already knows that okay, here is the data provider, but what table do you want to bind to? So remember, I created a person table, so I'm going to say I want to create a person table, and what we will do is I will come back to the CRUD screens in a moment. So first let's do the listing. So I'm going to go to the item action, and I will say listing screen, and I will say the heading text has to be name. There's no image, and subheading text should be let's say designation, right? And what I can do is I can say, okay, when somebody clicks on a particular item, I want you to take me to the detail screen, and in the detail screen what I will do is I will say heading is name, and let's do the data binding for this one. Description maybe is designation. There's no image. What I will do is I'll add a custom field now. So we also give you this concept of custom field. So I'm going to say heading, and let's keep it at h3, and this will be what did we have? So yeah, designation is done, so maybe I'm going to do location, and this will say place or location. That's it. So we'll just do that. So the moment I do an apply, you will see on the right hand side a simulator will show how the screens will look like. So let me show you that. Mind you, this is still a simulator using the Kendo UI mobile, which is a hybrid, but in a moment I'll just deploy this onto a real device. And there we go. So we have progress people being shown, and then remember I added 3 items, Lohit, Abhishek, and then Avinash was the people who were added. So now I'm going to go back to the index screen and then click on this progress people, and then I'm getting it. I can click on Lohit GN, and it says Lohit GN technical evangelist is in a Bangalore, right? So I can go back, and then I can go back to the index, you name it, you can do everything. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more view, master details, and this time it will be customers, right? So I will say customers, and we need it in the this one. So maybe for this guy what we will do is we'll just use some icon just to showcase. So it's going to be customers. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want an edit screen, and listing screen is fine. The basic fields will be heading text will be the company name, subheading will be maybe the what should we put, maybe country, let me know from where my customers are, and then in the detail screen I will again do a data bound, and then I will say this is the company name. In the basics field I will say heading is company, Description is actually contact name, and custom fields I will say add text block, and then this one will be contact title. So I will say contact title. Right now, remember I added edit screen, so I need to pretty much give this edit screen. I will have to create it. So what fields do I need? So let's, for the sake of the demo, we're going to let somebody edit maybe the contact title, or let's allow company name to be edited. That's okay. Company name, and it's a text field, and then data binding is company name. That's it. So I'm going to do an apply. So now what you will see is a complete CRUD screen being done for me without me writing the code, right? So that's what it is. So that's what we mean by enterprise features for the organization. When it comes to our platform, we let you get to your things faster. Every step of your mobility step is accelerated, is what we meant. So now you will see customers. So it's going to pull down all the 91 customers that you saw. There we go. Alfred's from Germany, Anna from Mexico, Antonio from Mexico, all that stuff. So now I can click on a particular customer, and notice here I'm getting the display of that, or this is the details of that. I can click on edit, and now you have Alfred. So let me go and then edit it, right? I can click on save, and it is actually edited. So if you think I'm bluffing, so let's go back here and notice here it's edited, right? So let's go to the database and then check this out, right? So if it is really edited or not. So I'm going to go to the data customers table and then look at Alfred's, because that's the thing that I edited. So let's give it a couple of seconds now. It's loading now, the data portal. And keep one thing in mind, I'm not at all changing my browser. I'm just sitting in one window of a browser and then I'm doing everything, right? So that's the beauty of Telerik platform. You'd never have to get away from here. So just be here, keep doing everything. And then where is Alfred's? Company name, let's do a sorting by, there we go, Alfred's footer Christie edited. So that's the account that I edited, right? So, and you can see it is stored. So I'm actually editing a data record which is in some SQL server in some place on the earth, but I'm sitting here in maybe India and then trying to build a mobile application, and then within no time I've exposed the database to the internet, and then I'm able to edit that in the internet. So this is fine. This all looks good. So how do we test this on a mobile application, right? So what we have done is in the Google Play Store, let me show you that, play.google.com. We have an application called as Telerik platform. So this is a companion app, as we call it. As you can see here, platform companion. Right, there we go. So this is a companion app that we provide, which is like a container which knows how to execute your apps on your, download and then run your apps directly on your devices. Basically this is how it comes up. So you log in with your own Telerik platform account, and you will see all the application that you're building, and you will be able to run it as is. So let me show you that. So let me mirror my Nexus tablet. So I have a Nexus tablet with me. So where is Visor? And Visor will start now. And what you're seeing now is my tablet. I hope you guys are able to see that. Yeah, there you go. So the tablet is coming up now, and that is actually my tablet that I've mirrored. And notice here it says Telerik here, the third row. That's the companion app. There you go, Telerik platform by Progress. That's the companion app for the platform. There's a jet flying over my home, so looks like Air Force is doing a drill. So let's give it a second to go. Okay, so what you're seeing here is it says scan it, my apps, help and about settings. So basically why is it giving you a QR scanner is because if you come back to the platform, there is this another service called as App Builder. Remember we were talking about App Builder during the presentation. So this is the second service that we have, code or app builder as we call it. And whatever I did till now, take a look at here on the right hand side here, there is something called as project navigator, and this is the code that the screen builder has written for us. So remember, we had the home view, and let me show you how the home view.xml, so everything is XML, the UI is XML, as simple as this. Notice here it says page.action bar, widgets.action bar, stack layout. This is a cross-platform stack layout. This is home view. Home view was empty, don't worry about that. What we need to look at is person view. So let's take a look at person view.xml, and this is the cross-platform UI for you. So all you do is you program against NativeScript's controls, that is page, action bar, stack layout, grid layout, list view. This is a cross-platform list view. Now I do not have a Macintosh machine with me, or I don't have a Mac machine with me. I think it's renamed to Mac OS now, so I don't have that. But otherwise, what I could have done is I could have directly run this companion app on a Mac machine, or sorry, iOS devices, and then run this code from there. But as of now, what I will do is I will have an Android device, and then I'll run it from there. So this is a list view. Notice here we don't say this is an Android or an iOS. That's because NativeScript is giving you this abstracted layer called as NativeScript components, or NativeScript modules as we call it, and that is all. I need a list view, that's it. You figure out how it needs to be rendered on Android, how it needs to be rendered on iOS, and NativeScript will do that. So I've given it a list items, and when somebody taps on a particular item, I want you to do this. That's what we are saying. And then here is how these each item template looks like. It's a stack layout again. There is a grid layout, and it's one columns. And then notice this. This is a CSS class being defined, and then that has certain style rules saying like font is this much, color is this, width is this, or margin is this, padding is this, like that. And here is the syntax. This is known as a data binding syntax. And at runtime there will be a header property for this item, so go bind that to this particular label's text property. That's all we are saying. And notice this is a busy indicator or activity indicator. This is a native activity indicator, right? So where is the code for this? Well, let's take a look at the person view.js. So this is the code behind, as we call it, and it exposes certain things like on list view item tab, I want you to do this. So there is a navigate, it's navigating to some other screen, and then when the page loads, here is the page loaded, it is setting loading equal to true. There is a list items being set to empty array, and then it is doing service.get all records. It has written all this code for you. You don't have to worry about anything, right? So we are kind of running short of time, so let me speed up. Now what you can do is you can do a run, and then you can say build, and it's going to ask you, do you want to build Android, do you want to build iOS? But take a look at, there is other things happening here. It says NativeScript developer app or an app package. If I say app package, it will take my source code, build the Android APK, come back and then say, hey, your APK is ready, download it. But if I say NativeScript developer app, notice what happens now. I'm going to say next, and that's it, boom. It says, hey, oh, well, you can run this directly on the device. Either you copy this URL or scan this QR code, but for this you need to have the Telerik platform. Now one another thing in Telerik platform is I can go to my apps, and notice it is doing a refresh now of my applications, and we will see this NS demo app 1 coming up right here. And as soon as my visor updates, we will see. So yeah, there we go. So there is NS demo app 1. This is the application that I just now created, right? I can click on it and I can see the details of that. It says NS demo app 1 28 minutes ago by Lohit GN. It's a native application, open application, view log configuration, right? So I can say open application. Now what it will happen is it's going to go download my application from the platform and then launch it. So it's doing something. So let's see, what is it doing? Okay, I'm going to click on live sync NativeScript. So what it will do is now it's going to go, there you go. So it's building the list, it's downloading my application now directly from the Telerik platform, and any moment we should get the app. There it is. We have the native script coming up. Looks like it did not refresh, so let me go back. This is the old app that I was doing, and let me come back here. Then I will do a open application, and it should come up any moment. If not, we'll try to kind of okay, let me show this another way. That is, remember this QR code that is here? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, and I'm going to say QR scanner. So I'm going to say QR scanner, and you can see what I'm doing. You know, I'm actually reading that QR scanner. It is a little tricky. Okay, there you go. So it has read the QR scanner. Now it is going to go download and then launch the application. Okay, come on. Just give it a couple of seconds. We should see this coming up now any moment. What is happening? I did many times and then it was able to launch it. So let's see. I'm going to go back here and then refresh the apps list, my apps list, and then I'll try to do an open from here. So it's just going to my account and then pulling down all the whatever application that I've done so far. Oh, what happened to my NS demo app 1? Okay, it came back now. Let me quickly try to load it up. So it's refreshing. So as you can see, I dragged it again, so it's going to refresh again. Sorry about that. So let's wait for the refresh to finish. And then I will say open. And I'm clicking on open, so it should open up. Not sure what's happening. It's not coming up. NS demo app 1, open application, and it just goes back in the, it looks like it is trying to download. So let me give it a couple of seconds. In the meantime, I'll try to see if there are any questions. And okay, so there are not many questions at this moment. Let's see what's happening in my Nexus. It's not loading. So let me do this. Okay, it is retrieving it, and then it should launch the application. And it still gets my old one. So let me do if it can update. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get the new version that is out that we just built. So we should have two screens, which is it's still going back to this. Well, I'm just showcasing you in another app. I'm not sure why it's not loading, but yeah, it's the same thing. What I did was I went ahead and then kind of brought the, so this is the native app that you're seeing here. You know, as you can see, it's bringing down all the customers, or these are the customers that I have. So I can say click on a particular customer and notice there is an edit button and then delete button. I can click on the edit button and notice here I can go and then kind of edit it, and I can say save, and it is saved now. I can go back to the index, and then if you go to the master detail, now you will see exotic liquids is edited. So that's what the whole CRUD screen it is able to create. Not only that, you can pretty much the coloring, everything is controlled through the CSS. So let me show you that. So there is a app.css file here. And this is what I like about our NativeScript. I do not have to know how to style something because natively, because what we allow you to do is you just go to app.css and write your CSS rules and you are done. As you can see here, page, background color white, button, I want horizontal alignments to be stretched, image and activity indicator, it should be horizontally aligned center, vertically aligned center. So like this, you just write CSS rules and then we make sure we apply it onto the the components at runtime. So that is why you're able to see this color coming up. So I've written a separate colors rule which says that the action bar should be having this particular color and then the foreground should be white, right? So if you want to see some other color, what I can do is I don't think this particular app is loading, so let's see. We should go back to NativeScript. Oh, my visor crashed. Let's see. Wherever you see N, that's the application that I'm built using NativeScript. Okay, I don't know why it's not refreshing, so I still keep getting my old code. Yeah. Okay, so something is not working right for me. Yeah, we ran out of time today completely, but we also have this concept of analytics, as I showed you. You can integrate an analytics into this, but keep in mind that whatever I just now showcased you, that's a native mobile application, that is not a Cordova based application. And then you saw me, I did not have to write anything. So that's the Telerik platform advantage that we provide you, and you can integrate analytics. And then this is how we will show you the analytics information. Maybe we'll come back with a video or something as to I think we already have a documentation which talks about how do you integrate analytics into Telerik NativeScript applications in all those things. We have notifications. You can work with notifications also. We will be able to do the heavy lifting for you. You just need to register the devices with Telerik push notification, and then we will make sure when you broadcast a message, it goes to the GMS or it goes to the APNS. We will take care of that. You don't have to worry about that. We also have the concept of business logic, meaning you can write a function on the cloud, you can execute a stored procedure from your database on the cloud, you can create scheduled jobs on the cloud. So everything that you want to do pretty much on the cloud, we provide you that. You can do a we have a trigger mechanism, meaning trigger in the sense, you remember I created a person table, right? So that person table, before reading the data, after reading the data, before inserting data to that table, after inserting the data to the table, I want to do something, my own custom logic. Yeah, we provide you a concept called as cloud code. You write just a small amount of functions, whatever you want to write that code, you just write it there in those triggers, and then we execute that function just before, depending on the trigger that you're hooked into. So that, in a very nutshell, is a kind of a whirlwind tour of what a platform is. So let me go back to this thing that we had. Yeah, so every step of your mobile project we try to accelerate. One thing that I want to make sure is today when I was showcasing, right, I was just in the browser. I did not have to install anything. I did not have to do anything. I just logged on to Telerik platform.telerik.com, and then I was able to build a ready-made or out of the box an application without much effort, which did a CRUD based scenario, which was a CRUD based scenario. And of course I can always jump into the code, take control of the code, and then do whatever customization that I want. But we speed up your development time by automating the code, right? You just select certain, I want a master detail view. Yeah, we wrote this code for you. Otherwise it would have taken, I don't know, depending on your typing speed, uh, so and so minutes, right? So we accelerate each step of your mobile project is what we want to make sure you understand. From coming from the connect background, like database, you saw how easy it was to create a table and then expose the table or connect to an already existing table. Of course, I ran out of time to showcase the analytics and the push notification, but you saw how I was able to create a build. I was able to, I can create an iOS build or an Android build and then publish it directly. And of course, the app manager, which is your own store. So we give you this A to Z of whatever you need for mobility on our platform. Hope you kind of are kind of excited with what's there in the platform, how you can get on with NativeScript, and I hope this webinar gives you a stepping stone to go back and then kind of create a maybe a trial account, play around with it, and then we'll be excited to see what you're building, and then anytime write back to us. And let me just give my um, coordinates. So you can always call me, write to me at nagaraj@progress.com. So that's my email ID. So you can always write back to us if you need any information on the Progress Telerik platform or on NativeScript. We'll be glad to help you out. So hope this webinar was a good learning time for you, and we hope to see you back in our future webinars too. Let me stop the recording now.